It was built, geologically from volcanic activity. You can see here, magma that filled in and created an elevated plateau. The blue represents Mount Hermon, which was all the way over there, and that we don't see it from here, beyond that bunker, which is limestone. Basically, if you look at this, you can see Hermon is 2,800 meters, and the Golan Heights is about 3,500 feet to about 1,200 feet in the southern part, but it's an elevated plateau. This is Eli Cohen. Eli Cohen, which got this Syrian the Arab named Kamal Amin Tabat. Eli Cohen was one of the greatest spies that we know of. He was sent to Syria. I started to tell you the story on the bus. Gained a lot of credibility. What you're thinking? Now you'll hear me a little better. Sorry, now it's a little better, right? So this is Eli Cohen. We actually know he visited this room. That's where they closed it off because some kids were doing graffiti. We have plaques there. This was the Mukhabarat, the head of the Syrian intelligence. So he came here to issue out a visa in 1962 to visit a certain area of Hama. And I have with me the picture where he was visiting with the nephew of the president and one of the Syrian army officer overlooking Israel, the Holy Valley. That's Eli Cohen in the middle. We have here a picture of him overlooking from his condo, overlooking the main headquarters of the Syrian army bases, Syrian generals in Damascus. As I said, Eli Cohen gave us so much information about what's going on. He gave the advice about the eucalyptus trees, which is consistent even here. Behind you can see eucalyptus trees just around the base. As we drive down to our next site, you'll see also, I pointed out, destroyed army bunkers, eucalyptus trees. Levi Eshkol, Israel's prime minister in 1967, has said that we owe so much to Eli Cohen because he saved so many lives, brigades of people, based on the information he provided, that Israel was able to really understand this northern arena much better. The Syrians realized they had a breach. They brought the KGB back then with special advanced devices, intercepted the Morse code, intercepted Eli Cohen from his condo transmitting. They broke into his apartment, found him, caught him, put him on military trial as a traitor, even though he's a spy. He's not a traitor, he's a national Israeli hero. So spies are dealt differently. America and Russia exchange spies. You saw so many movies about that. You don't execute spies. There's a certain way you deal with spies. But he was put on trial as a Syrian traitor, and he was hanged in front of 20,000 people in Damascus. That's our national hero, and his body was never returned to Israel. This was in 1965. That's him on his wedding day. So Eli Cohen, the national hero, that did so much, visited this place. And really, this is, by the way, a picture of Eli Cohen. That's the president, Amin Chafez, and he's sitting here behind him. That's an amazing picture to see how high up he was ranked. I was mentioning 1967, just briefly to complete that story. Syrians were fighting the war in the water here. Jamal Abdel Nasser was fighting in the Tiran Straits, and Israel realized the war is inevitable. We'll talk more in length about the war tomorrow. But Israel preempts that war. Israel called in the reserves. 80% of the army is their reserves. We'll complete that about the Yom Kippur war in a few minutes. The reserves is called in. 3 weeks, society is paralyzed. There's nothing going on. No drivers, no bus drivers, no teachers, no shopkeepers, no lawyers, no doctors, nothing. Everybody's in the army. Israel can't hold anymore this way. We realize the war is inevitable. It's a tactical decision of who fires the first shot. It's learned until today in West Point and other military academies what Israel did. And Israel decided to preempt the war, because if we don't preempt the war, then we're not going to have superiority over the airspace. We're going to lose the war. We're going to be wiped out. Ratio of 1 to 10 against Syria, Jordan, and Egypt. 7:30 in the morning, when the Egyptian pilots were having their morning coffee, 180 Israeli jets took off. They're all nothing bit in the sky. flying as low as the sea waves. Some of them, the cockpit had splashes of the waves to avoid the radar. They made it over 11 airfields as far as Sudan, Gardacha, and Luxor, Alexandria, Cairo. They bombed 80% of the Egyptian Air Force fighters and bombers on the ground, bombed the runways to prevent them to take off, and by that, dominate the sky and have full superiority over the airspace from the first 45 minutes of the war. We'll talk more about that tomorrow, how it relies into Jordan as well. Very interesting story, which I'll tell you in reference to the West Bank and how Israel took over the West Bank from Jordan. The Golan Heights was not part of it in the beginning. Syria and Jordan joined the war. We'll emphasize tomorrow how Jordan joined the war. Very interesting story. And Israel took out the Syrian Air Force within 2 hours, as well as Jordan. And by 1 p.m., June 5th, Israel had full superiority over the airspace of the Middle East, including bombing airfields nearby Iraq and H3. But the Golan was not still yet on the agenda. Syrians were shelling down, Israel was fighting back. We were busy in the Sinai campaign. By the second day, we're already in Sinai. Third day, liberating Jerusalem, West Bank, River Jordan. And only by the fifth day of the war, we got the opportunity. The people which were suffering from the Golan Heights shelling for 19 years told the government, it's now or never. 30 hours, they climbed up to the Golan, where I showed you the first battles near Banyas in the south. They took over and they stabilized the border nearby a ridge of inactive volcanic mountains from that hill over there called Tel Makti, Mount Hermonit, and there's a couple of other mountains over there. And the Golan Heights became Israeli controlled area. But it took 6 years for the Arabs to claim back their pride, to fight against Israel in 73. I'll invite you to go up on the roof. I wanted to give the 67 introduction here. We're going to go up on the roof. We'll keep it short to 4 minutes, 5 minutes, because I know you're very cold. We're going to go back to the bus and we can complete talking about the war on the bus. But up on the roof, we can see the area around us, so follow me.